Welcome to another message from the streets. Today's topic is education, higher education, or education of a nation. And the topic is actually based on the nefarious operation within the borders of the United States and other Western societies and communities around the world that charge and overcharge for education or information that will actually help their citizens to become better citizens. Now, the key thing in this is that assist or to help the citizens to become better citizens. Most people that are aware and that is paying attention are conscious that poverty and a lack of knowledge brings about crime, criminal activities. I'm not saying that knowledge and information is the 100% antidote or cure for these situations, but when we examine it, most people that steal, they steal because they have a lack of, and then stealing progresses to other thought processes that may become detrimental to others in the society at large. People rob banks, people rob people. People do these things because, for the most part, again, because of the lack of thereof. And the lack of thereof many times come from a lack of knowledge and a lack of information, education. And saying that, it is unbelievable, or it behooves me that these social scientists around the world, in majority of the places, can't make this connection or refuse to make this connection or continue to use the wickedness of a system that is outdated to oppress, suppress the people. And suppressed and oppressed people, they become depressed. And when you become depressed, you start to utilize thoughts in the thought process that attempt to find you a way of happiness. Now, a lot of people desire the basic necessities: food, shelter, and clothing. In our society, we have people that have these things, but it's such on a mediocre level that it is saddening. And when you become emotionally depressed about your circumstances and situations, you want to do something about it. And I'm going to share with you my situation. I was brought up in Washington, D.C., Northwest, in a very nice community. My pops was my provider, and he had a mediocre job, but he did the best that he could do. Me and my younger sister, we was brought up in a house. And we had other siblings. And as time went on, things became difficult for my pops. He used to get a Social Security check and some other type of check from being in the war. And then during the time of the Reagan administration, those things were no longer afforded to him. So things became rough in my household. Sometimes the lights would get cut off, the water would get cut off. Different types of things was going on, but my pops was doing everything that he could to maintain. So as I got older, I wanted things. And I knew that my pops couldn't provide those things. Let me rewind it a little bit. I was a hard-headed person, young person. And I wanted to do things my way. And I wasn't very good at school. I was average at school. I could have been better, but I didn't have an appetite for the way that things was being taught. So I concluded one day, my pops can't afford to send me to college. I'm not going to get a scholarship. So I'm going to have to find a way to survive. And in Washington, D.C. at this particular time, we had a culture of hustlers. And when I was going to junior high school, I started seeing people with expensive clothes, jewelry. Then when I got into high school, people was driving cars and things. And I was like, you know what? I want to get my piece of the pie, the devil's pie. That I didn't see it as a devil's pie, but that's what I wanted. I wanted that too. So I started to participate as a merchant of the streets. And that path that I chose, it led me to a lot of situations, committed a lot of what people would identify as crimes. And yes, they were crimes. I was committing crimes against my people by assisting in the distribution of narcotics. And which today I see that it was not a good choice because I was helping to destroy the people. But as a youth or a young person, I didn't see anything wrong with it because I justified it in my mind. If I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. Now, moving forward, if information was affordable to me in a way that I could receive it, I would have pursued it because what ended up happening, once I got incarcerated, got my mind clear, I realized that I enjoyed learning because within the books and information that I was coming across, I found out there was people that actually thought like me. And at that time, you could say that I had a revolutionary state of mind, a black nationalist mind. I was blaming everything on the so-called white man and this society. And I knew that it was criminally activities that was against me and my people. And I was hot. But that actually, gave me the motivation to read more books and to study and the things of that nature. And I'm bringing this up because, information is a key to the elevating of the thought process. Now, it took some time for me to actually sink in because I was rebellious and I didn't understand that my rebellion was not against the so-called white man in the system, but it was a rebellion against myself and the God of my understanding because I was walking sideways, bent over, crooked, in the name of survival, in the name of obtaining things. So back to the topic at hand, the charging for this education. The thing is that if this society or any society wanted less crime in the society, education and information would be the number one goal of the society because educated and intelligent people have the ability to uplift the society. But what's actually going on is that there's a certain element in Western society that has been agreed upon is to keep people suppressed, keep people in bondage. And when I'm talking about a bondage, I'm talking about an economical bondage. The physical bondage is not a great thing. The mental bondage and the economical bondage, because once you realize that you make it through the physical, the mental bondage, maybe because you're on different types, utilizing different type of vices, so forth and so on, then you get into another matrix, whereas those that the economical bondage come. And you're doing everything that you can to, make ends meet, take care of your kids, keep a roof over your head, keep clothes on your back and food in your stomach. And then it comes to a situation where as though you can't move further in life because you don't have information, you don't have, you're not certified, and you don't have credentials, in a sense where as though you don't have these degrees or these, the associates, bachelors, masters, doctors. And this is the format that this society is based off of for 90% plus of the masses. Some people, they make their own way, but most of the people, they travel this route because this is the route that has been downloaded on the hard drives of our minds since we have been used. Get the information, get this, and this knowledge and this information, you got to pay for. And you got to pay for it, whereas though right now in the day, I know people for 20 years ago, they owe right now in the day 6 digits, $100,000 or more for education that today they don't even have a job or have a job in that particular field. So you know what I say? That's a hustle. That's a scam. And this need to be changed in this society. The forefathers, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They did what they could do in their times. The people to build the foundation of this nation. But if this nation want to continue to thrive and move onward and upward for the benefit of the people, for the masses and not just the elite, information, education must be provided on a level where as though the consciousness of the people will be awakened and people can become or fulfill their fullest possibility. I have been a little long-winded on this video, and I'm going to bring it to a close. Most likely I will have another session or episode to continue on the topic of education. Ladies and gentlemen, I brought you this message in peace, and I'm going to leave you this message in love. Yeah, one thing before I go. Earlier I mentioned poverty. And a lot of times people associate poverty with material things. But I was actually talking about the poverty of knowledge, of information. And when you don't have knowledge and information, you are at a disadvantage in a lot of areas. Not having knowledge and information is being in a state of darkness or a state of ignorance. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video has been informative. If you have any comments, please leave them. Give the video a thumbs up if you have the time to do that, or a like or something of that nature. Subscribe to my station. I'm just trying to work it out. I'm trying to bring, but I'm not trying. I am bringing information to people that I think that will be beneficial for them to help themselves. Always remember, live your life on purpose, with purpose, because it's all purpose. Praise Him that raised Him.